loves? It's your girl Diamond. I'm back with an on review of Put a Ring on It. Let's get into it. So, we're back where we left off with Shay and Fonzo. So, we're talking about him being overly excited about going on his date, right? And that trust and being faithful are their major issues because there's a possibility that there could be somebody that could turn his head because yes, while Fonzo did do too much in my opinion to get excited about his date, and Shay did a lot to showcase her insecurities, but she knows she had them. Then she's talking about how it was hours after the date, and she started checking her phone to see if there's any messages, and it doesn't leave her with any sense of security because she doesn't have any space. Dr. Nicole usually said when someone leaves outside the relationship, they're trying to distance themselves from you. They may be coming up with their identity journey. But it goes back to what she said the first week. We're only here to work. We're only here to do the work. And you need to communicate exactly what you want from the other person. Kenneth and Shorty, the date that he had with Shamaya, it wasn't nothing because all he kept on thinking about was Shorty. He couldn't engage, and there was no space in his heart to have a conversation. Shorty realized that what they were going through, that he wouldn't be able to focus on the date, and that he wasn't attracted to her. Dr. Nicole wanted them to be mindful of expressing themselves to their partner, but never try to internally sabotage their partner's dates. Because if he wants to connect with somebody, give him that space. Meaning, don't either come up with an argument or don't linger on an argument that you will have a time to talk about, but it's hindering you from getting into the process, right? Even if you're in a bad space, don't let that be the deciding factor for you not to figure out what you need to do with this process. So don't just, be dependent on where your relationship is going, that you're not focused on why you signed up for this. So Kenny doesn't believe that Shorty would sabotage him. But when they're in a bad space, she makes him feel small. She makes him feel less than. But I feel like, what do you bring? Now I know she's the breadwinner, and if you feel small, if you feel like you don't matter, but your main focus is making sure that she doesn't look at you as you don't matter, because you're dependent on how she views you. And if you're dependent on how she views you, then you have no space and time to do anything else unless how Shorty views you is how you should move forward. Okay. Otis talked about his day. He said it was cool. She was nice. He liked she gave him additional background. But he wants to take on more of a leader role. He doesn't like it to be 50-50. And Charlena, she likes it 50-50. Because basically, what the type of tradition that he wants is, I want you to do as I say. Do as I say. Do what I want you to do. Don't have an opinion. Shut up. I don't need your voice. I don't need nothing. Just walk 10 steps behind me and pick up my food when I need you to. Do what I say. Okay? Don't give me an attitude. Just do what I say. Basically saying. So Charlena talks about how he wants control. And that she doesn't get a chance to speak her speech and get her point across and get her voice heard. Because he likes to control things. Because he wants the control to be all deciding factors. But he feels like that she is two ways. She wants to be submissive, and if you're submissive, you get all the benefits. Like what? What are the benefits of being submissive? A roof over her head? Able to sit at the table? You tell her to stand up. You tell her to hop like a leg on a dog. What are the benefits of her being submissive towards you? But then the other part of her is wanting her own voice. Wanting her to take charge. Wanting her to do her own thing. He doesn't want that for her. Because he wants her to learn how to listen. And learn how to do the decisions that I want you to do. When I make decisions, I make them. You don't have any say-so. So they do go back and forth with this. It'd be conflict. Then there's been more conversations of putting his foot down with saying, I'm not talking about this no more. When they're in discussion of things, when he gets to his point, when he's done talking about it, he says, we're done, we're over it. Stop talking about it. I don't want to hear it no more. Basically, it's the power dynamic changing. And Because oh yeah, so Dr. Nicole wanted to know, so you're willing to change your perspective in order to stand your ground, or are you willing to change your perspective being forced to be quiet and stand your ground? So another red flag is how his traditional ways can put a hinder in how they communicate, and they need a different perspective, which is the truth. It's the truth, because your views of traditionalism is a servant, a master, and a servant. And that servants don't have a leg up, servants don't have any say so, servants don't have a brain. All they do is eat, sleep, and think about what ways to make you happy. They don't have a mind of their own. Kenneth would not be going on another date because Angie wasn't there. Fonzo would not be going on another date because Angie was not there. But while he's saying that, Shay is super happy because she figured it wasn't going to be another date. And that wasn't his type, right? But Alfonso, to get through this process, she doesn't know how it's going to work, because there will be another woman coming in, and that could turn her head, that can stand in the chance of being that one for her. No, one for him. But Shay, at the end of the day, if there is somebody that can turn Alfonso's head, let him. Because this man is not for you. All these men ain't worth it, in my opinion. They're not worth it. So Otis would not be going on another date because, excuse me, it just wasn't there. But Char wanted to know if there was a change in his behavior. Is he taking the process to his full advantage, or is he trying to showcase him in the best behavior? She can't tell. So the men will be going out on dates this week, except for Shay and Fonzo. Otis and Kenneth will only be going on dates. So Kenneth is excited for his date. I don't know what he wore. He wore something so plain. He's in a different headspace. She said, I want you to enjoy the process, because how will you know that I'm the woman for you if you don't go out and see the world? So we're introduced to Maisha. She comes in a slingshot. She was born and raised in Atlanta. She's a radio host personality. She says she's not a homewrecker, but if true love is being tested, and if that man finds out he enjoys himself around me more, she's going to pursue it. So you're a homewrecker. That's basically what that homewrecking means. If you are engaging in a man that's in a relationship, but he automatically tries to look for ways to spend time with you more, you knowing he's in a relationship and you don't give a fuck, homewrecker. So Shay opens the door and she recognizes her. It's her old morning intern coworker. Her old morning intern coworker. I was like, oh shit, wow. What a small world we're living in, where a girl that you used to work with goes on a date with your man. Who'd have thunk it, right? So telling him they used to work together is still kind of awkward, but in the back of the mind, Maisha wanted to see if this was the right time to talk about may the best woman win. Girl, what? May the best woman win? Why would you say that? Okay, fine. Yeah, make the best one win. Because take him off her hands, Maisha. Go ahead, because Shorty is done. She's tired. Take him off. Fine. So they go to a crab boil place to have some food, and his mind is not clouded by what's wrong with his relationship. So he wants to put all his focusing on is engaging with Maisha. So she asks him, what do you do? He says an entrepreneur. He does food blogging, and he generally contracts. General contracts in what? Food blog what? You do need to buy food in order for you to have a food blog. Who paid for the camera? Who got the space? Because usually all you do is go to places and blog about the food. No shade. That's what I want to do. I want to go to different places and express how the food is good, because you can make money being a food blogger. You can. But for me, I think he just threw out something, because obviously general contracting in what? Construction homes, general appliances, plumbing, toilets, lawn, roof. Like, what do you do as general contracting in what? Obviously, you ain't making no money then, because what you doing? What does that mean? His blog is called The Skinny Fat Man. I'm like, okay, fine. So they're both Geminis. He was born June 18th, and she was born June 1st. So he's having a good time. He's enjoying his personality. It's nice having to engage to somebody. He kind of feels like Maisha and Shorty have the same personality, so it's kind of good, comfortable. His biggest flaw is that he has a big heart. He opens his heart, he expresses his love, but doesn't get reciprocated back. and he's been hurt many times by people. He doesn't understand why. So that puts him into trying to be better for that person. If I was doing this more, would she recognize it? If I was to do this more, would she pay attention to it? Is your whole sole purpose in life is to constantly be for other people and not for yourself? And if you don't get that, what do you do when you don't get the reciprocation? Obviously, we know what you do when you don't get that reciprocated. You get petty. You do stupid things, like take pictures of her bank statements. We're going to get to what you did later. You did more than that. But that part, lock yourself into a bedroom for hours and go through her phone records and shit. When you don't get the love and respect or admiration in life, all that, you get petty. You tap into stalker vibes when you don't get that. And that's not good. Your codependency is starting to scare me. If you're trying to automatically be for somebody else, you need to be more for yourself. So obviously there's a connection. He says Maisha allows him to be himself, and she's literally giving him all the admirations, saying he's the perfect match. She's giggling. She's applying pressure. And she talks about, you're pretty much it. You're the bee's knees. I don't know what's the problem. And if things are not good at home, you do know you can call me and I can make you happy. Are you putting your bid in to step in and be that one friend? You putting your bid in? Put your bid in, girl. It'll get taken. Put it in. Put your bid in. Her homework and trace is coming out. Otis. He talks about how smooth he wants to be. And he wants everything to be natural and flowy throughout his day. So he wanted something that was up his alley, which was horseback riding. Now, I want to know something. I don't know if I remember or not. Was his first date at the house? Or was his first date already at the cake bakery stuff? This is it dawned on me. Because his date, she met him at the horseback ranch. Is that okay? I'm missing something. Is that okay? That he made sure his date wasn't at the house, but it was at the horseback riding place. I just want to know, can you do that? Can you have your date meet you? I thought it was they come to the house, meet you, and then you travel. I just want to know, because I forgot that part, but I just feel like it was kind of funny, though, that you had your date automatically set up to meet you there, but not meet your date, not meet your girlfriend. Okay. So we meet Milan. She's 30 years old. She was born right here in Atlanta. She's a DJ. They're both from Decatur, Georgia. They both went to the same high school. And they both like having a good time, and they both love writing. So her first impression of him was he got a lot going on. He's cute. He's handsome. He's fun to hang out with. And she likes a man who is a really cool person. And he has a good swag about him. They're both vibing. And she got her name from her mother, who loved the city of Milan. Otis got his name from his daddy. So he's an Otis Jr. He's an OJ. She says, you look like an Otis. You're like a strong black bear. Yeah, Yogi. After pretty much, the day was ending pretty well, she invited him out to see her DJ. And he likes that. He's into music and arts as well. But he doesn't want to do it. He feels like he already is taking a risk into engaging more with her than this date. And he doesn't want to rock the boat. He doesn't want to rattle what he got going on. But he is seriously thinking about going on a second date. I think I did. Didn't Milan have a confessional? Usually if they have confessionals, that means they're staying around longer. Just like last season. Kai had a whole lot of confessionals. She stuck around for a very long time. And Milan looks like Char to me. She favors Char. I mean, she's really pretty with her freckles and everything, but she looks like Char. So I'm like, this is what you probably like. You like the fact that she's a pretty girl, and she reminds you of Char, right? But he wants to see more. So we see Shay and Alfonso. They are preparing for a private session with Dr. Nicole, and her main issues is trust and how she doesn't feel secure in her relationships. And the situation they've had, it leads with insecurities. And the reason why they have trust issues is because of the job description that he's in. He's in the entertainment business, the music business. He manages Rick Ross. Hence why he dresses like him. So there's a lot of females around. So basically, the way that he avoids dealing with families and boundaries, he uses that for his work. He feels like, unless there's proof, she doesn't need to be believing it. I know there's women around me, but there's nothing else to say about it. It doesn't matter the situation. How would you feel if she was communicating with different men, because you communicate with different women who have full access to you. You wouldn't see it as a problem, but if I was doing with the man, you would see it as a problem. How would you feel? Exactly. So we're talking about how he presents himself on social media. And he tries to downplay it, doesn't want to take accountability. Look at how he's acting like he's single based off his profession. That's what I wrote. There was a woman that took a picture and she captioned, "Love of my life." The same woman called the phone the next day. And she was like, "For real? What's up with that?" So then it was revealed, because he wanted to brush it off as if this was something that was so long ago. This is something that wasn't that serious. But this was a woman that he dated before. And I think she was in the industry as well. She's a singer or something. But basically, how can you find it okay to take a picture of a woman who claimed you're the love of her life, call you the next day, to now want to admit that she used to be someone you dated? How long you dated her for? For her to say she's the love of your life? What the hell? So basically, it's how you're presenting a problem, and the fact that you knew this was someone that you dated, and when the situation came up, you never say anything. You made me go off an assumption that you were this, but then he also mentioned that he was in the streets when he met Shay, and that she knew that she wasn't the main woman. She knew that he was dealing with other women at the time, and that it doesn't need to be understood. It is what it is, you know. I don't know why she's upset, but at the same point in time, it's been 3 years. When it came down to you being with her, did you? No, you probably did. You probably lied to her about where you were in life. You probably lied to her where you were in life. When you saying you just dating a date and there's nobody else, you know. And she probably believes you, but yeah, you've always was already dealing with some people on the side, you know. Basically, you know, it basically at the same point in time, if you were already in the streets, you are still in the streets, in my opinion. Because how can you be in a relationship in 3 years and she's constantly in a space she doesn't trust you? She doesn't trust you because you don't give her a reason to believe you. You are full of shit. You laugh things off. You think it's funny. And it's another level of boundaries that you have not said. While you're supposed to honor your relationship and yourself, you don't do it. And he feels like it's the business I'm in. It's a lifestyle. I can't control it. Yes, you can. If you're not honoring yourself in the relationship, they're not going to. If you're not, you don't have to loudly announce it that you're in a relationship, but you have to let them know firsthand. Hey, yo, don't act funny over here. I'm in a relationship, okay? If you want to take a picture with me. Don't do funny shit. It is nothing wrong with you doing that. But you don't want to do that, because you enjoy the attention that these women give you. Because if you say you don't give a fuck about your relationships, why should they? They're not going to know you're in a relationship because you're not telling them. Yeah, and that's her main issue, how he handles situations. You feel like social media is what it is. I don't know what you want me to do. I can control it. Bullshit. But if you don't set up a boundary, how you want to move on in your relationship? It's going to go right through you, and it's going to present the fact you don't care about your relationship, which you don't. So he feels like, I'm a cool guy. Women love me. It is what it is, a part of my lifestyle. And I'm not about to wreck what we got over here over a one-night stand or a fling when I'm out the country or something. The fuck? You would just incriminate yourself right then and there. You realize that, right? The fact that you came out and said, I'm not about to wreck what we have going on over a one-night fling. Meaning, just like how you lied to her about going over a business trip, you went on a vacation with your baby mama and your mama. 9 times out of 10, you probably still fucking the baby mama too. So the fact that you are saying if she doesn't see it, she doesn't know. And if you're out of town, she can't say that I'm doing something because the girl's not here. You lie. You lie all the time. You are using the fact that you are in this lifestyle that women are supposed to just accept. That women will be around. There might be something going on, but it's not that serious. No, nigga. You cannot use that you are in the music business. Social media has no control. You cannot use that as a way for you to get a pass on the things that you do. You cannot do that. So he will admit that he will stop being so friendly and vocal. And things will be different. But she said, I'll believe him if there was some truth to it. While he's saying he's going to avoid being friendly, that means he's going to come up with a more creative way to be friendly, a creative way of doing things not supposed to be doing that I can't catch him on yet. So he's scaling on thin ice, basically. And I want you to stop communicating with women outside of business. I want you to stop communicating with women outside of friends. And I will use the term friend loosely because they're now giving him the license to do things that he wants to do. But she cannot control what he does. No, she can't. She can't control what he does. But I believe that Fonzo is looking for something on the back. I don't know what it is. He's looking at Shay as someone who is going to still be there. The back burner, the afterthought. While he is in the lifestyle, what he wants to do, there's something to come home to. That's gonna wait for him, deal with his bullshit, still stick around when she doesn't need to. Because he doesn't see a future with the women that he's fucking, but for some odd reason, since Shay is a beautiful girl who represents what he likes, he still likes something that's gonna stick around, knowing that he's on some bullshit. So obviously you need to work on placing boundaries when you're at work. Because if you don't place the boundaries, then how are you going to move forward? So you got to stop allowing other people to create a space in your home. Stop allowing them to come inside your home. Stop allowing them to do things where you know it's wrong. And he feels like, I can't control that. What do you want me to do? I don't know what you want me to do. Then you can't protect what you're trying to create. Leave him. Drop him, Shay. He doesn't take you seriously. He finds your insecurities something to laugh about. Because he laughed about it. He laughed about the situation with the girl in the post. He laughed about how you felt when you left, when he left to go with that trip to his baby mama. He laughed about it. He finds it funny. The things that he does was he feels like this is what happens when you're dealing with me. This is what happens. Either get with the program or get lost. Moving on. All this. So, Shar's preparing for her date, but she wants to know how did he do on his date. He's getting her short responses. He doesn't want to divulge into everything that was said. He's pretty much battling with what he wants to see if they can go. Maybe he's willing to take the risk because all he kept on saying was, it was cool. Horseback riding. He trying to change the subject because she's talking about she's hungry. Make sure he feeds you. I want a drink. Do you want a drink? No. What do you mean? Horseback riding. Horseback riding what? I'm learning about myself. What you learn? That needs to go horseback riding more. Fuck. Well, he's trying to keep it as short as possible to not mention how the girl was because he feels like Shar will be upset and how it'll be an unpleasant conversation. Not if that's what you wanted to do. If y'all made a boundary, if talking about your dates to share, then share. I can't get upset. I want to know how was the date. But Otis wants to keep her doing right. He wants to make sure she is still moving forward with being corrected, being reminded, make sure the boundaries you put in place still is in your mind because it ain't affecting me. Because I'm not looking at the views for me. The rules don't affect me. They affect you, not me. And I don't like that he doesn't want to divulge in it, which means there's something else going on with that date because she's saying that he's not being forthcoming. While he wants me to be forthcoming, he's not being honest about it. So he meets Shar's date. His name is Brent. He's 30 years old. She's from Decatur, Georgia. And he wants a woman who wants more out of life and is ambitious. So Brent rings the doorbell. Otis is doing the same thing he did last time. Size up the guy. Make sure, he does right. He introduces him to his girl. He literally said, Mrs. My Charlie, my Char. Where y'all going? To a pasta making class. Oh, word? You know she can cook, right? The fuck is wrong with you? Why do you always have to paint Char out to be someone that you do not need to date? Why do you always have to bring her down when another man is getting introduced? Why? That's not good. You're tearing down her self-esteem by making sure you're pointing out all her flaws in front of strangers. Boy. And then he said, y'all have a good time. Remember, you treat her like you want someone to treat your daughter. Are you her father or you're her man? The hell are you doing? And sizing him up, making his presence known. He said, listen, that's my woman. Don't get any happy ideas. Nigga, goodbye and good night. Then here we go drinking. So Char is enjoying her date because they arrive at the date. And the rose petals are all placed around. She finds him attractive. And he seems cool. Let's see where the day goes. So she's all in. He's enjoying the day. He finds Char extremely attractive. She's funny. She's smiling. She's good. What's not to like about her? He asks her where does she see herself in 5 years. She said with family, with kids. And where do you see yourself? He said same, especially when I want to run for congregational. I want to run for office. And he wants to target the black community through economics. I'm like, that's cool. She's never been out with a politician before, but he's extremely smart and he knows what he wants, and she's attracted by that. So she wants to know how he views tradition. He views tradition, but in a different sense. Like, he wants to be the main breadwinner, but his wife will be able to work when she wants to. He wants to give her that option, right? Then they talk about submission. He does not like that word because it's like someone is being a servant to someone. Like, you're a master, that's a servant. No, I don't want a servant. I want a partner. I want my equal. Enjoy that. So basically, the submission is not only towards the women. It should be equal submission, because as much as I want something from her, she's going to want something from me. And I need to be able to sure I'm keeping my end of the bargain and giving her what she wants. Because that's what submission is. Submitting yourself to the person to, give them what they want. But in vice versa, equal submission. You give each parts of yourself to one another. Now, of course, you get equal amount of effort. So why would you want to start off dating somebody who doesn't want to give you equal amounts of them? It was refreshing for him to have that perspective for her. And she never thought of that type of perspective. I don't think Otis ever thought of what submission meant. Of course he didn't, because he wants it to be where he's the leader, he's the king, and all his masters bow down to him. That's what he wants. So she is definitely considering a second date. And I like Brett. Brett was cute. He was handsome, he was nice. I enjoyed his gap. He had a nice gap. I love a gap. And that was nice. So Shorty in Hollywood, they have a second date. She was excited to see him. And it's normal to say that throughout the first date, which was the introduction, the second date seems more comfortable. And talking about her relationship, it's been 3 years. Don't think that's been too long? She said, yeah, it has been. But she's broken up with him a few times. We're getting into it. The first time she broke up with him, she moved out, got her own place. When she walked out of work, he followed her from work to the new place. I said, what you mean? He packed up the old place and followed you and was waiting for you to get home and followed? No. Basically, she was caught between two opinions. One friend was like, girl, that's some crazy shit. Don't take his ass back. One friend was like, girl, I've never seen somebody put so much effort into getting back together with you. My man wouldn't do that because that's some crazy shit. Like, can he not breathe when she's around? Not around? Can he not function when she is not in his sight? That's what I want to understand. Because in what sense does it make? In what world where she leaves you, finds her own place, you follow her to her job, and you follow her to her new apartment? Shorty, how did that work? How did you allow his ass to get back into the house? Like, how did he... I can't even say how he knew, because he followed you. Some crazy shit there. Some stalker shit. And even Hollywood was like, that's some crazy shit right there. And all the effort, no, that's some crazy effort to me. So then Hollywood talks about his analogy of a good dog and a bad dog. When a dog does something bad and they pee on the floor, you spank them, rub their nose in so they can learn a lesson, right? Basically, if you're constantly teaching him to learn his lesson, he still doesn't get it, that means that he's never going to get it. He pretty much just wants to be in the space with you until he doesn't want to anymore. Like, I don't even know what that means. I don't know what the hell I just said, but it's the discipline. You can kind of discipline him, tell him what he did wrong, what he needs to work on, but it's not working, it's not registering. Then girls, cut your losses, because you can't raise a man. Shout out to K. Michelle. You cannot raise a man into making sure that he knows what he does and all the things that he does do wrong, he's not taking accountability for. You got to teach him. You got to guide his hand. Literally, place his nose in the shit that he did so he can get it. Whether you just saying it. Oh my God, I can't. So, of course, hearing that from a man to learn his lesson, if you don't think he's learned a lesson by now, let him go. Shorty is feeling it. Did God give me him? Did God send me you? Because my prayers are answered right now. And they're talking about God. Do you love God? Yeah, I love God. Do you love God? Shout out to Erica Campbell. He used to be an usher in a church. Hollywood used to be an usher. I used to be an usher too. I used to be nurse to Hollywood. He wants a woman that can travel, be fun, be happy, and that's what she wants. He basically says Shorty is a good woman, but I know in the end, this is not Hollywood's type. I don't know how long Hollywood will be staying on this season. He had another confessional with his Luffy hat on. But that was pretty much it. They had good conversations. That was cool. It's professional. The type of man she's looking for is out there. So is there anybody else out there for her? But we're going to see from there. So we're back with Dr. Nicole. And we're talking about Otis's date. And again, he's giving short responses. He doesn't want to give too much. Dr. Nicole pulls it out of him to say, what else happened? Did you find her attractive? I did. Oh, you did? Okay. And we went to the same high school. From the same hometown, so it got comfortable with being with somebody that was familiar. Okay. So Dr. Nicole can tell that all the things that weren't mentioned when she first asked him are being mentioned now. So what's going on? How you feel? I just feel like it's funny because he established boundaries for us to share our dates and our experiences, to talk about them. And when I divulge, it's required. But he doesn't get to divulge what he does on his days. And I feel like that's a double standard. But they're going back and forth with him calling him out about what he did. You did establish rules. You did establish boundaries. You basically baited me into making sure that I tell you about my days. Otherwise, I get the repercussions. I get punished. And I get treated with bullshit, basically. So, yeah. And, yeah, the first day that she got back, when she didn't divulge everything, she got scolded. She got punished for it, which is the truth. So she feels scolded when she's in conflict. And Otis was asked how did he feel about that, because Otis is going back and forth with not trying to admit what he does. He turns red when he gets called out. He said, I don't want Shar to feel that way, but it's not how you want her to feel. How do you feel? So Shar she's finding her voice, and she's expressing that he's not going to answer the question. He's going to avoid it. I feel scolded. Why do you feel scolded? Because he knows his action is going to make me feel that way. But he's not going to answer it because he's getting called out. So trying to get him to understand that she's felt scolded by him, and he doesn't understand that's your experience, but that's how she feels. She feels scolded by you. So that means that there is some validity in what she's saying. And he doesn't have an answer because I don't have the answer for it, but you have the answers, doctor. So why don't you tell me why she feels that way? So Otis says that she's making things up in order for her to say that he's scolding her. She uses scolded. She uses the word that he scolds her in a way that she's not getting what she wants. Then he said there are times where he hasn't scolded her, and she acts like he's done that before, but this is all happening in her head. And figuring out why he does this. Why he wants to avoid taking accountability, avoid the fact that how he talks to her is really pissing me off, because like you said before, you said you scolded her before, but why are you making it seem as if the times you haven't done it, it doesn't make any sense? It's all made up in her head. That's bullshit. You condition her into knowing when she does something wrong to you, she has to reap the consequences. Reap the repercussions, because you're going to make her feel afraid if she was to ever express how she feels. And it's just all going back and forth. He's turning red. He doesn't want the conversation to be all up on him. He's trying to force Dr. Nicole to talk about other situations that they've also gone through that maybe Shar is to blame of it all, which pisses me off. And then he talks about how when she's held accountable, she acts like a child. She doesn't want to hear it. It's not about her. She doesn't want to hear what she feels. And it's like bullshit. I just feel like, you know what, Otis, you can go to hell. Go to hell. And now she has no self-awareness. And we're talking about you scolding her like a child. And the way you condition your communication is when she does something, you treat her like a child that needs to be corrected, which is bullshit. And Otis is definitely giving me, he is a regular person in front of everybody. He is the greatest man alive. You can never say anything bad about him. When he's behind closed doors, allegedly, like I'm saying, he knocks her upside her head. Like, you ever seen that movie Till Death Do His Part? When the girl found her voice to check him on what he's been doing, when you know what I wanted, he slapped her around and he said, See, look what you made me do. Come on, I want to have this conversation. Fix your hair. Fix your hair, okay? Wouldn't it be easier if you just do the things that I say you do? See, I added from Tyler Perry. Family Reunion, I added that part. Wouldn't it be easier if you just do the things that I say you need to do? Fix your hair. That's what he's giving me. He's giving me all of Tyler Perry's movies, plus his Dead to His Part, any movie that has to do with a psycho man who has possessive behavior, abusive tendencies, and he acts so gentleman. He acts like the greatest man alive, but in closed doors, he's a dangerous man behind closed doors, and I don't like it. I'm afraid for her. I really am. So trying to check him on, I'm not going to rush the process for you, and you need to understand this is how she feels, and you're not giving any consideration to how she feels. And that relationships are in contempt. But if there's something that's rooting from contempt, you need to focus on the root of the issue and solve it. Otherwise, it'll eat your relationship alive. But Otis want to have the last word to still trying to paint him off as he's not the one doing it. This is not his problem. This is not a problem that I have. So don't place the blame on me. But it's not placing blame. It's counteracting the traits that you have. You have this trait that we need to understand and address. We cannot move forward in something else to overshadow what you're doing. We can't do that. So she said, listen, just listen to what I'm saying. But he wants to say, okay, I hear you, but I don't think I don't think because I'm feeling I'm not wrong, and I don't think that she should say that about me. She said, listen, at the end of the day, just sit in it. Just sit in it. Don't rebuttal, just sit in it. And Shar feels like at the end of the day, she doesn't know if he's actually going to do the work and learn how to take accountability for his actions, then they're not going to be together because it's his way or the highway. And he is purely disrespectful, which is the truth. But that was it, you guys. This episode was a lot, especially towards the end. Next week's going to be a lot as well. I cannot wait. But that's it, you guys, all I have. Please stay until the next video, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye.